elected to put Nick on the programme, a flagship political programme, and they overcompensated by trying to vilify him and humiliate him, and people didn't like that at all. They really didn't. But regards to the racial side of things, it's very easy to just sweep that kind of thing under the carpet. But that's not why we're in business. We do believe there's a concept of race. People are different. People have a sense of identity. I'm very proud of being white. That, in this country, is a very, very near the knuckle statement to make. But
nobody can make it. Nobody can make that statement here in America. I mean, to even utter those words is political death. I mean, you can't even go there.
Well, I am. That's the truth. I am proud of what I am, and I'm not prepared to renounce what I am, or be prepared to say that it doesn't matter, because it matters a great deal to me what my people have achieved throughout time. I'm not saying that any other race is inferior to me or lower grade or whatever. That's not what I believe. I just believe that my people have a right to an identity, and I am very suspicious, shall we say, of those powers and that mechanism that bullies and intimidates people into renouncing their whiteness, if you see what I mean, under the guise of it's a fight against racism, where every race, for instance, is allowed to organise and to galvanise and basically campaign for its own aspirations, apart from one race of people, one type of people, and when they do it, they're immediately shouted down as racists.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe that a slow awakening of the native British voter is guaranteed, and the future growth of the BNP with it?
I don't think it's guaranteed. I don't. We can never take things for granted, but I honestly believe that the more ideas come out, the more people actually listen to what we're saying, and the more I, for instance, what I'm doing now, I'm letting people look at the concept of the fact that perhaps when we're shouted down as being racist and intolerant and haters, there's something else behind that. Why is that happening? Why are people so preoccupied with putting us down? What are people frightened of? What motives are there for other people to be doing this? And when you put two and two together, you come up with an answer, and it's not very nice. I can tell you that now. It's not a very nice answer at all. Our lot in the UK, inherently, we put up with an awful lot. We're very tolerant people. We're not rebellious like the French, and we will put up with an awful lot. We don't like to complain. If you see Brits in a queue, for instance, they don't. The Germans don't like to queue, and the French don't like to queue. But we'll queue. We'll put up with it. But there's only so much. There's only so much we'll take, and then things start to happen. If you see what I mean, we begin to get a bit despondent.
Y'all recently had a legal issue come up about your membership, and I've read in blogs here and there where that's going to make y'all too mainstream, and this particular site said you're going to be deracialized and become irrelevant, and kind of head down the same path as American conservatives. How do you respond to that?
Well, no, that's not going to happen. I can assure you of that. I mean, technically, this party shouldn't be around now. If I could have 4 or 5 hours to tell you exactly what's been done to us in the past, where people have tried to jail us.
Well, briefly, tell because I guarantee you Americans don't know what's happened to you.
Well, a number of us have been attempts to throw us in prison merely for what we've said, not done anything for what we've said. Not so long back, we had all our bank accounts closed down, every single one of them. The idea that we were in some way an illegal organisation was insinuated in a Sunday paper, and all of our bank accounts were closed down. It's rather difficult. You wake up one morning and you've got no money. That's been done to us. All kinds of things. This ECHR business, the Equalities and Human Rights Commission, they've did apply to London County Court on October the 15th, saying that our membership our constitution was illegal. Now, we believe that it isn't. But here's the thing, Jim. if you fight a court case in this country, you need a lot of money to do it. We estimated that fighting that case, even if we'd have won it, could have cost us £1 million. Now, £1 million is a lot of money. It's about $1.6 million. Is that a lot of money in Mississippi? I think it is, isn't it?
Yes, sir. It's the same. It's the same thing. I mean, you got to have a lot of money to even get into court, and given the powers that be, best thing to do is try to avoid the court.
Well, that's what we've done, and to cut a long story short, we've agreed to freeze our membership, so nobody can actually join the BNP at the moment. We've got thousands of people wanting to, but we agreed with the court. We agreed with the judge, actually. The judge was quite a reasonable man, and there's no way we're going to defy what he said. If he's reasonable, then we stick to the rules. We've made an agreement with him, and that's that. That agreement is not going to be broken. So we've frozen our memberships. We don't take new memberships, which has cost us thousands upon thousands of pounds. And what we've now got to do is look at our constitution, because this is another aspect of it. The Equalities Bill, which is coming in, will make political parties that operate ostensibly on an ethnic basis illegal. So in other words, this is the government saying that, I don't like the political opposition there. They're going to do rather well, so what shall we do? We'll change the statute books and make them illegal, which is a rather warped way of doing things, a rather Soviet-style modus operandi, but never mind. And that's where we are. We're going to have to look at the Constitution, and we're going to have to ask our members what they want to do, and they'll have a vote on it. As it is, I don't think there are many black and Asian people that would want to join the party. I mean, the Sikh community over here, for instance, they're quite supportive of us. They understand where we are, but they don't. Their only identity they're interested in is Sikhs. They like being Sikhs, and that's it. And most people who are supportive and understand our objectives don't believe in infringing our rights to our own identity, for that's what they're doing. By making out that there's no such thing as an indigenous Britain, you're actually disenfranchising 50 or 60 million people in a fight against racism, bizarrely enough. That's how it's labelled. To actually cast the rights of 60 million people aside is a fight against racism. Totally bizarre and very wicked.
And so I hear you saying this is really a technical legal matter, that y'all are going to get your Constitution square with the law, the letter of the law, but it won't have any practical effect. It's what I hear you saying.
Well, yes, that's it. We'll make sure that we comply with the law. It's that simple. But if anybody thinks there's going to be a sea change in the attitude and policy, let's focus on policy of the party, then that isn't going to happen. Because I haven't, for instance, and I know Nick hasn't. I've spent a considerable amount of my time invested in this party. I've spent most of my life actually doing things for the nationalist cause over here, and I'm not going to be railroaded and told how to think. That's not the way we operate in this party. We've become quite efficient at what we do, shall we say. We've had many attempts to kill us off, many attempts to stab us in the back, and there's an old saying over here that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And
yes,
the nucleus of our party and amongst our members, there's a great deal of determination, and there's a lot of strength.
Mr. Darby, it makes me wonder, if one were so inclined, could they in America form a party and say the only people who can be a part of this party are white people? There's a law against discrimination here in America, and I don't know how that would work out. Do you know the answer to that question?
Well, it certainly works out for the number of black organisations that you've got over there. There doesn't seem to be a problem with those. And to be honest, I don't blame it. Black people should have the right to organise for their own aspirations, because it's very simple. Only black people should be allowed to think and organise for themselves. I mean, white people can't think the same way that black people do from that point of view. The
big press here in America, that there's this notion of egalitarianism, that everyone's equal, and you're supposed to look at everybody as if they're equal. And the Republican Party, I don't know how much you know about our system over here, but the Republican Party is considered, even though they won't.